Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome again to another podcast episode on Talk Architecture with your host, Naziati Muhammad Yaqub. I was just browsing Thread and I came across someone I know who is the owner of Bunga Atelier, an architectural landscapist named Mior. And then he shares a lot of principles and guidance on his Threads social media page. So that's one that came out 2 days ago, in which he said there's one day that Kevin Lowe told him about what is a great project. And the great project pyramid theory says that one, the project is the topmost thing. Then next come the subcontractor. Third, the main contractor. Fourth, the community. Fifth, requirements and brief. Six, consultants. Seven, the architect. And eight, the client, which is the most bottom of the pyramid. If the client on top, the whole pyramid will fall down. So there were people commented. I won't say their names, but they commented. They can understand why the project is way above 6 to 8, but they are interested to know why would the subcon and the main con are above the community and brief. Mior would answer, brief define what is actually needed. Community gives social meaning. Main con turns the idea into buildable. Subcon make the actual craft and knowledge to make many things happen, and then the project becomes the final collective result. So that's how he interprets the pyramid. Of course, people will ask, there another person asks, who is the paymaster? And Mior will say is the client. And so another person says the client should be on the top. If not, there is no project. And Mior said yes and no. If we're talking about a great project, once the project exists, the rest becomes bigger than the client. If we're talking about mediocre, usual stuff, then it'll be different story. Okay. And then people want him to elaborate further. There's another one. Can he elaborate? Mior says, a great project not supposed to be a monument to the client or an architect. The client is the foundation that makes the project possible. Money, ambition, opportunity, etc. If the client is on top, every decision flowing downwards to client's personal desire, community became an afterthought. It'll become an execution of one person's preference rather than a collective piece of work. So, makes sense? So, I didn't read all that really. I only read about the client is the paymaster. So, my comment was similar in that what Mior had interpreted and explained. What I said was the client needs to be educated, right? I hear this from Kevin Matlow about you need to actually teach the client. And the clients that are not interested with you will find another type of architect if we're talking about the architect's role. So the client approach you and they're interested in your work and you need to educate them. So they're the most uneducated from all this list. What they have is money. But money isn't everything. Knowledge is. So in order for you to make a great project, you have that pyramid. So to me, it is about knowledge. The knowledge pyramid, first of all, is about the project, number one on top. The idea, the vision, or whatever. And those others in the list are knowledgeable when I mention all those. Architect still needs to learn a lot from all those above him or her and holds them up by his or her understanding that needs to make the client understand. So the architect interprets whatever knowledge that is there to the client. So, and then in turn, the client would understand and hold the whole pyramid with his money, with his perseverance, with his understanding, with his persistence to make the project buildable in the end and get a great project. So with great money comes great responsibilities. And yes, the client is the most responsible, will carry the most responsibilities. And all this different actors and roles is about relationship with each other. The main con with the subcon with the project. It's true when Mior says that the subcon is the craftsman and make it beautiful, yeah? The main con is the overriding manager of the contractual work in the building. Yeah, that is all those relationships happening when the project is being built. So, yes, I do understand about this message, and it reflects what Mio understands as well. And I'm taking it a bit further because of my interviews with Kevin Matlow. So, yes, thanks again to Mio for highlighting this pyramid. And Kevin Matlow wouldn't have told this to the student because it's not about a real project on site. With the student, it's about the design problem, identifying problems, and developing the project on paper. But this one is on site. So we're talking about the fundamentals of construction here. Again, the project vision will be on top. The project doesn't need to carry. The project is the project. It doesn't need to carry knowledge. It is the peak of the knowledge. All the knowledge gained from all the other roles and the skills that they apply, the action, encapsulate on the project being a great project right on top. So the most to do with the hands and work to provide the vision to happen was a subcontractor. The main contractor manages them. So the community knowledge is important because respecting the community and the needs of the community, which relates to the neighborhood, makes sense that the project is not a standalone, arrogant, going behind, just showing the back to the community, but it's open up. It is transparent to the community and the community supports the project. The requirements in brief, there are a lot of requirements. Designing inside out is important as well. The functioning of the aspects of functions and space and volume and all that. What it is that it doesn't say that this project is a private dwelling or a public building or public space. We're thinking that this applies to all because when you design a private dwelling as well, the building could be arrogant and not really, addressing the community. There have been projects that Kevin were critical of, which is private dwellings and private entities in which they cause problems for the community. So therefore, the requirement is also to do with all the knowledge with regard to the project itself in which decisions are made by consultants, architect, and of course the client. The other consultants, engineers, land surveyors, quantity surveyors, and all the construction related consultants, even experts, the architect need to interpret their work and inform the client why it costs so much. And it's we need to decide on this course of action because of the reasoning from the consultant. So there you go. If the client on top, the whole pyramid will fall down, because that's what Mior said, that, the client provided the earlier vision and the rest completes it. And the vision can only be completed with the action of people on the ground making the buildings happen. That's a good one. I like that. And since it's on social media, I can refer to it. Thank you very much.